and then we have a recording on Zoom. So now we have all the ways it's recording. So we definitely have the replays. Awesome. Kelly, shoot, I'm going to reboot. My video is not working. Okay, cool. So she will be joining us. Lovely. So we're doing our first hot seat call, which is super exciting. And what we're going to do is kind of do like a round robin. So I'm going to, everyone who has something that they want to share, that they want to get cleared off, I'm going to invite you guys to unmute yourselves, and then you guys can share what's going on in your world, what challenges or limiting belief systems that are coming up, or questions that you have. And then I'll kind of like zone into some of the themes, because sometimes different things are presenting in your outside world, but there's still like underlining themes of like scarcity, or underlining themes of like not good enough, or imposter syndrome, those kind of things. So I'm going to check in with everyone and then do a bunch of clearing downloads, and that's how the 2 hours will go. So I'm here as long as you guys need me, and I'm really excited to get into everyone's stuff. I do have the note already on Lavinia, because she had posted in the group about like receiving and expanding those lovely things. So we'll definitely jump into that. So if you would like to start, Lavinia, we can go with you first, and then we can kind of go with as people popped on. So Robin, Marcella, Derek, Kelly, when she gets the ability to get back in. So are you able to unmute yourself? I don't know if there's like new, okay, cool, you got it.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, so I'm happy to start, and I'm so happy that you've got the things, because I just woke up. My mind is so blank, I don't remember anything.
Okay. So yeah, you had commented about, yeah, I made a comment about receiving. There was also a practical piece about some of the people that were coming into your world, the verses of like helping them with copy or writing or ghostwriting, or doing a little bit more involvement there, versus like just going really into like sex coaching and intimacy and those kind of fields. So if there's anything new coming up, we can tap into that energy, or we can just clear out the old stuff and deal with whatever's present.
Yeah, actually, I remember now. So I think it was especially tied up to these tickets that I've got for Path to Passion. And so for everybody else, these are just tickets to a big event of our teacher. And we get those tickets and we get to offer them to people. And I kind of know that people are offering them for free, like other coaches.
Yeah.
But that feels so weird to me on the one hand, like, because this is like a 3-day event.
Yeah.
And people are paying like already money for my very, very little Zoom workshops. So it feels like I can't give the same people that event for free. And I think I also, like, part of me just feels like a fraud.
Yeah.
To charge that money, even though that actually makes sense to me, because other people don't. But then at the same time, like, when I do charge, like, ask for money, I also feel weird, you know, which is like, doesn't make sense at all. Yes. So I was like really working my way through those emotions around these tickets.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't understand them very well.
Okay, so just because I can zoom out and like I know what's going on, so that everyone knows and everyone can gain understanding from this, there are certain things that you can do as you grow your business where it makes sense to have a loss leader event. So that's what Jaya Inc.'s doing with Path to Passion, is literally being like, okay, if we have a bunch of people show up and they paid zero or a very, very, very low investment to be here, then we can upsell them. So the whole intention of the event is to upsell them into other programs. So other paid programs like coaching and healing. Last year they did sex skills and secrets, and pie, and like other things like that. So they get to upsell once you're there, right? So that's what they're doing. They're like, it's going to cost money to put up this event at the beginning. So similar to how we do free workshops or webinars. Like we can call them whatever we want. If it's like a free masterclass or a free video training series or a free Facebook challenge or whatever, it's going to be free because what you're doing on the back end is making you so much more money. So that's what their company's structure is of why they're doing that. So then you as a coach, you have valuable tickets. Like the event is fucking life-changing. I had like energetic orgasms last year. Like it's powerful. They do amazing high value stuff there. And also they upsell into things and they'll make offers and stuff. So that's typical in the coaching industry. If something's free or cheap, there's very likely going to be an offer on the back end. That's just like how business is working. So you get to decide, okay, do I feel better offering it as something that's paid and using the tickets that you got from no fees? Do you feel better being like, hey, but how's that kind of working? Because are they paying you and then you're giving them the free link? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, that works because that'll still work with their system and structure and stuff. Have people bought like the free, or sorry, have people bought at what price for the tickets so far?
It's like 100 euros.
Okay. And do you feel good about receiving 100 euros?
Yeah, I totally do. Mm-hmm. But you know, it's like sort of like the whole thing is weird, you know, because like the whole thing is kind of weird. Because you know, I know the intention of that event, but then if I'm the one who gives these tickets to my like clients or people who attend my workshops, then it sort of doesn't match my own structure, and and to them it doesn't make like so there is this sort of confusion about it. But I would feel really bad to just give them away like that because I feel it would totally devalue my work.
Right. Yeah. So if you're not feeling called to offer them for free just because you received them for free, you can totally do that and be like, hey, this is the price of an amazing transformational event. The value that you're going to get is even more than that, and receive 100 euro.
Yes.
Which is still like cheaper than what they're offering it for retail public value.
Yes, totally. Yeah.
That helps make more sense logically. Like we'll definitely do downloads on like receiving. I just want to make sure that like your conscious brain is kind of like understanding the pieces a little bit better.
Yes. I think my conscious brain is like getting some stuff. Yeah.
Because like your paying clients won't necessarily understand why it's a 3-day free event. But then you can be like, okay, well, you can take the time to explain it to them consciously if you want to do that. Or you can just be like, hey, there's other places online where you can get it for even higher, and I'm offering the tickets at this amount.
Right, that's it. Yes. And you know, like we're in Germany and this is a whole different world. And we don't have these sort of American events like that. So it's like pretty complicated to explain the whole thing. So yeah.
So does that feel better for how you can explain it to people and not feel bad about it or like a fraud or bad because other people are offering some of them for free?
What do you mean by how to explain it to people?
Like, are you feeling better about how you can communicate it to your clients?
Yeah, actually, I feel that I'm communicating this all right already. Okay. So it's not about the communication with my clients.
Awesome.
I think the communication with my clients is the reason why, like, I'm not offering this for free.
Right. Yes.
Right. Because otherwise it would be a strange communication.
Right.
Given my normal communication.
Right. Okay, cool. So we'll just do some downloads on you receiving money and feeling good about receiving money for you doing basically no work.
I think that's one piece that is like causing some stress. And the other thing that's causing stress is also like that I'm a bit afraid, since they are paying some money, that they will in the end feel like they're in sort of a, you know, in an event where, so they just want to sell stuff to me.
Right.
And I know, again, with my conscious brain, that's crap, because like the event is really a great event, and it's okay that they have a pitch, but
Yeah.
still I've got that fear too.
Mm-hmm. And still, like, the pitch is basically like an hour out of a whole like 3-day event.
3 days, yes.
And
I know.
they don't even have to go to it. They can just like have a long lunch.
Yes.
So
I know all of that.
Talk to them about that and be like, yeah. And just let you know ahead of time, they're going to give an amazing offer for if you want to continue. I continued with them last year, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
Just like call it.
Yeah. I think like I've got most stress around receiving. Yes, that's like, I can feel that now.
Okay. We'll definitely do the downloads on receiving money.
Yeah.
And like, just because you're basically doing more work, like we'll normalize this for everyone, like that you can receive money for things that you've done in the past. Like you becoming a coach has made it possible for them to receive low price tickets. So you did the work. It's just in this present moment, you're getting to gain on previous work that you've done. What you want to do in a business is leverage what you've done in the past into the future so that you can be affiliates and receive income streams in other ways other than just you hustling or like you actively doing a private one-on-one container. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we'll do downloads on it being easy to receive multiple income streams. And expanding your capacity to do that. Does that feel good?
Yes.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay, so then I think Robin was next. So we'll see what she has. And then for anyone else who's been jumping on, we'll kind of go round robin, see where everyone's challenges, limiting beliefs are, and then I'll find all the themes and clear them all together.
Hello.
Hello, love.
Well, first of all, I would like energetic orgasms, but don't know what they are, but I want some.
Fun. It's great.
I didn't really have a question, but listening, what came up for me was I don't really have a pitch.
Okay.
I'm usually one of those people that wing things. So I almost feel like having a speech is kind of corny. Which probably isn't true. It's just I feel like I might have some weird energy around planning. Like who plan things are control freaks or something. So I've gone and done the opposite.
Right.
And I feel like I have a bit of a fear to be in the public eye, like on TV. Like in front of not in front of this type of camera, but in front of like a real camera, like TV camera.
Right.
I tend to stall, and same with being on bigger platforms. I get really nervous. So I feel like I could branch out, but then there's a little bit of hesitancy when I have opportunities. I'm kind of like, no, not my thing. But it is. I just don't know how to overcome the nervousness.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of what comes up for me. So
awesome. We can definitely do that. And do you have an offer to go on a TV show?
Well, I was doing some photography at like Christmas Daddies, and one of the guys that works on the morning show in Halifax, I had a good chat with him, and I was like, well, I do all this healing stuff, and he's like, oh, that's really cool. And I said, do you think I could be on the show? And he's like, oh yeah, we can squeeze you in. He's just like this short little cute guy, and he's funny. So anyway, but then I thought, well, you know, I feel like I could do it, but then there's that little piece of like, I do have a nervous touch. So it was just building the courage, I guess, and like anything that I could clear around it to make me feel more calm, I think will give me the stepping stones to just say, okay, it's time. Stop making excuses.
Yeah, and also like super fucking celebrating you for having like the ability to like bring that opportunity into your world and like talk to him about it, not just be like, oh my God, it's presenting itself and I'm gonna like totally hide. Like you shared it and like you're now moving towards being able to do it. So like fucking yes. You know how many people you could help being like, hey, there's the world's in a not great space right now and I can help you live in a better reality and heal things and like teach other people to become healers right now. Like holy fucking shit. So like, woo! Super celebrating you for that. Yay. And yes, we will clear the nervousness and the things coming up around it for sure.
Right.
Awesome. Okay. So I think Marcella was on next, and then we can do Kelly and Derek. Unless Marcella's driving in this exact moment. Okay, maybe we'll do Kelly and then see where Marcella's at because her image is off. Are you able to unmute?
Hi, sorry. Yeah, I was muted. Hi. I love your hair. I don't know if I missed that you said that you did something with it, but it looks really nice.
No, I just got it done today.
Good. Let's see. I am thinking about right now, I think really just like, getting these deliverables to the client, which is like having some fear around that. I'm going to submit some things to her tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And just sort of like, what is she going to think of it? And sort of getting a negative feeling. And I really want to shift that to, gosh, she's going to love this stuff, and I'm getting a little bit more excited as I kind of complete the task now as well. Like, whereas before, I don't know. And I just, I would like to shift from fear to excitement and to just be happy about it. And just, I guess, part of what has been talked about before around receiving, and then also for me feeling a little bit of I don't, like I'm in a final place of like, okay, now I'm not going to have any clients and now what do I do? I have nothing, like I don't have any new clients. I don't have any webinars. I don't have, I can do some posts and things like that, but it's like, okay, now where do I go from here?
Right.
And I'm tired. So it's like, part of me is like, well, don't go anywhere. Why don't you just coast with your day job and your nonprofit, which I'm, on the board of, that they're, I've got a big event coming up and I'm like, I could spend time doing that. I think my brain is like trying to weasel its way out of, I don't know, making excuses.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And I'd like to, I desire to be bringing in revenue and helping others. So yeah.
Awesome.
And just being in alignment with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so like the conscious piece that's coming up for you is like whenever things are ending to like, and this is for everyone as well, like to be excited about the space that's being created. So like if you have a client who's coming towards the end of their contract and it's not feeling like a hell yes to re-enroll them for what their goals are for how you're treating them, be like, yay, I'm creating new space for even more ideal clients that I have now, or my next level version of my ideal client at a higher rate, at a high caliber, at a higher version of that.
Oh, I like that.
Mm-hmm. Instead of being like, oh my God, everything's ending, scarcity bad. To like shift into the abundance of this spaciousness that's being created from the outside.
And that's what I put for my outcome this week. It was like, okay, I have space for a client at 2,900 or, yeah, I do. So.
Okay, what's coming up around saying 2,900?
Oh, because I was like, I wasn't going to say the number right because it was like, it's $29.97 or it's $27.97, depending on if you pay in full or not.
Right, okay. So a piece of homework will definitely be saying those numbers out loud.
Yes.
So you're like used to saying them in your nervous system, and like when you get to that part of the call, you can be like, oh yeah, $29.97.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah.
Cool. That's also homework for everyone as you like increase your rates to always like practice it in the mirror and like even practice like way higher numbers. Because if you're saying it's 50K to work with me and then it's actually like 20K, if you're saying, oh, it's 10K to work with me and it's actually 5, like it feels better to your nervous system to like say a big number and then drop down. Because it's like literally all like just comparison in your head. And if you go from a big number to a low number, you're like, actually it's super cheap to work with me for $10,000 a month. Like
Totally.
Okay. Practice saying, great. And doing it in the mirror is even better, because then you can notice if you have like any weird tics, or if you like want to like look down instead of like actually just being like, yeah, it's 2997. Awesome, cool. So Marcella's camera's not on yet, so let's go to Derek. And I did listen to your message before this, but I did not get a chance to reply. I had a bunch of back-to-back calls today.
Hey, that's fine.
But if you want to talk about it, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
Yeah, no, I would like to talk about it because now is obviously the perfect time. So, I obviously launched my group program, and
Yay! Like, yay! Celebrating that. Like, you fucking launched your group program. You are now officially doing privates and group programs. Yay!
So it's funny that I watched the early bird call tonight, because it literally was like speaking to me so much, especially the part like be grateful for all the failures that you're having, so celebrate them. And I feel like throughout the launch of this group I had so many failures, and I was really just like feeling, you know, just like kind of just exhausted from the launch. Like I kind of just got tired of it towards the end. It just wasn't fun or enjoyable.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't receive the desired number of people. And then, you know, and I was showing up and doing webinars to promote it and stuff. So for me, although like it's not really a failure, but for me that was my failure, you know. I was desiring so much more from the launch, like more people, like you know. So then, but watching the early bird call today really kind of spun that around.
Yeah.
You know, so that was a win then.
Yeah. Woo!
And what was the yeah, so we had the first call last night, and then I obviously told they know that it's being recorded obviously, and it's going to become a digital product.
Yeah.
So for people to purchase in the future. But then after I did the one-to-one, so after the call last night, one of the participants messaged me, and she said that she was feeling uncomfortable about like one of the things she shared when she was doing the demonstration with me. And she said, can you cut that out of the recording?
Right.
And so I haven't responded yet, because I feel like I'm not here to go to that level when I already said it's going to be a digital product. Like, so it's like they kind of agreed to kind of already be okay with that.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like, can you cut that out? I would have to like have software to edit the recording and cut a specific part out, and I'm not at the point where I have a VA to do that stuff, so I'd be doing it myself, and I don't really feel like showing up to do all that. Like, it's the kind of, I mean, I'd obviously rather her feel more comfortable with it, but at the same time she did know, so I just don't know what way to respond to her about it.
So what's your fear around this? Like, if you say no to her and you're like, no, I explained what this is and you agreed to it and that's our agreement, what's your fear around what's going to happen next?
I don't know, maybe her kind of like demanding that I do it, you know, because I should be like having her like, what do you call it, like I should be respecting her like vulnerability, or like, you know, just almost like protecting her as much as possible. Like, kind of my fear would be her demanding that, and then I just kind of like, oh well, I don't really know what to say next.
Right. Okay. So it's beautiful that you want to be respectful of her and protect her and those kind of things. However, she signed up to a group container knowing that she's getting it at a more affordable rate, because there's going to be other people on the call live watching the replay. That's the benefit that she's getting for not having the additional expense of working with you privately right now. So there's
Yeah.
downsides of that, being like, you have to be aware that anything that you're sharing in a group setting that's being recorded and the replay will be available later, you have to be at the level to be like, I'm okay with that happening. And that's what happens in like bigger communities like Tony Robbins events. Like, that's being recorded. Like Abraham Hicks, if you're on the hot seat, that's going to be put up for free on YouTube later for all of eternity. So that's just kind of the structure of things. And it's very unfortunate because sometimes people will say something that later they'll regret. So then you can work with her on that piece of like, what's coming up now? What's your fear? Because maybe her fear is that her mom might watch it later. So be like, on our next call, we can work on the fear. Or if she has any kind of like VIP access to you, then you can do that. Or if you're feeling really called, you can like give a couple quick minute downloads. Be like, I feel that you're like really like scared or ashamed or like whatever's coming up, whatever she's sharing. Like you can be like, hey, I really feel like that's coming up for you. And I honor that. And also this is the container that you agreed to. So how, like, you as Derek, do you feel best in supporting her? Being like, on our next call, we can do some work on that. I can give you a couple quick downloads right now just to feel like safe being seen in your struggle and knowing that you being seen in your struggle is going to help other people in the future, and trusting that like's attracting like, and that someone else is going to like witness that later and be like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I needed to hear.
Exactly.
And those are valuable for someone else. And you were able to be the catalyst for that, like shifting that frame in her head from being a victim where other people are going to like make fun of her later, or it's embarrassing, or it could be used against her, like whatever the story is in her head that wasn't there before that is now. That's the like deeper level for her to be free, for her to have more happiness, for her to have whatever she's desiring, whatever's coming up to be healed right now is of service for you to do. And then it's also coming up for you because you're like, I don't know what to say to her. So then it's for you to like be a strong container to be like, okay, if I had a group of a bunch of people being like, oh my God, I can't believe I shared that in a group, you being able to be the person who holds space for everyone's stuff coming up and being like, and this is a container everyone's agreeing to have that solid structure, which will support you in having even more amazing souls in it in the future. So this is also growing you. So all of these things are good. All of these things are lessons and blessings. So it's also like the conscious shift of that. But we will also do all the downloads of like feeling bad and what if she gets demanding. So like, what's the fear behind that? What if she does get demanding?
I feel like I'll probably just be like, okay, I'll cut it out then. You know?
Then what if everyone wants every single part of their group calls cut out?
I know, it's not like doable, really.
Because then not everyone's getting the benefit. Like even when you do, like just let everyone know, like even when he does webinars for free and streams them far and wide on Facebook, the person who's the live demo, it's being live streamed. Like he can't cut out that. And it's the purpose of your essentially like the person in the hot seat that's speaking what's going on for the collective for everyone else watching. So those downloads that you're giving are kind of necessary to provide that. Because otherwise they don't get to like raise their hand and have one-on-one type space with you.
Totally.
Does that feel a little bit better? For
no, it feels better. And she does have a one-to-one session with me still available, so she can clear up on that.
Awesome. So invite her to do that. Be like, hey love, I hear that this is coming up for you. Let's dig deeper into the things that are coming up that are making you feel unsafe or whatever she's using, whatever her words are, whatever her stories are.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll do the downloads on that. So just like to go a little bit, thanks for the comment of the hot hair.
Oh my God, I was thinking the same when I just jumped on.
Thank you. I appreciate you
really
all.
Nice.
I'll book my haircuts on these days more often. Okay. So for your fear, okay, worst case, she comes back and she's demanding. Let's go like a little bit deeper into like what it's triggering inside of you.
Okay.
So she comes back and is like, no, you have to take it down. You must always and forever cut out all of my interactions with you in the group format that I just signed up for.
I don't know. It's not really. I don't know. I feel like I'll be pretty strong
Mm-hmm.
in the boundary with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the only worst thing would be that she decides just not to participate live anymore. But then that's fine. That's on her. That's her choice.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Okay. And then because I know that this comes up with other people and this isn't necessarily Derek's energy, but anyone else. So other things that have happened for me and other clients is like the fear of people wanting their money back, of people like wanting to like get you in trouble or be like, oh, now I'm gonna like spread lies about you, being like a bad reputation of you being a healer, being like they won't they're gonna share confidential information everywhere, but it's like, no, but like you agree
Yeah.
to like be on a free webinar. And it's like, I've in the past had someone who's on a free webinar and then afterwards was like, other people are seeing that, and I'm like, yeah, like at the beginning when you heard that, and then when again I was like, this is coming up, you can always say pass, and like explaining that to people too, that if like something is coming up deeper, you can always be like, do you know, I'm not comfortable going deeper. Like people can have their voice in that too, be like, I'm gonna just like pass on that question. Like people don't have to say anything, or they don't have to go deeper into things. And then you can also like within yourself as like the coaches and healers here be like, if I'm going to have demos and if it's going to freak me out to hold space for something where potentially like bad shit could come up, you can also be like, okay, and if something crazy comes up, you can always like, I can stop the Zoom call here, I can stop the recording of it. Like if something like super deep or super traumatic was coming up, I could also stop to take care of the person. If something like was legitimately like coming up that was like overwhelming the nervous system, or they were having a trauma response or something like that. So like sometimes that will prevent healers from like wanting to do demos, is like, well, what if something really deep comes up and the person doesn't know how to take care of themselves? So like just that we all have that like conscious piece too, that if or when those things ever come up, like you can also be like, okay, well this was the plan and now we're shifting the plan because something fucking crazy just happened, which is a super rare exception kind of a thing. That's kind of just like back of the head kind of thing that was coming up for a couple people. So we're just going to mark down some things to clear. Not confidential or safe. Cool. So we'll do all kinds of clearings on that as well. Does that feel better for the conscious pieces?
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome. And then we'll do all the downloads.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So then Marcella, I know that you had to pop off because the connection.
Hi, loves. I apologize. I'm like multitasking today with like running home, dinner, taekwondo. And so I'm like, it's a crazy night.
You're super mom.
That remains to be seen. But yes, let's call it busy mom tonight. So lots to clear up for sure. I apologize because I'm gonna be like I'm gonna sound like so much to clear. But
you're in the right place. Yay!
I know, like this is the place.
Yep.
So the fear of being visible and stepping up and stepping into my leadership is like the thing that keeps coming up. And so it's like I shared this with you before, like I shared this like in the previous group, and I'm like, I don't think anybody from my ex's world will be watching any of your videos anytime soon. Like they're in a whole other world.
Yeah.
But like I've felt like I've had to fly in like this gray zone. I've had to fly under the radar. Mm-hmm. So whenever like my life starts getting good or good things start to happen, he gets very crazy. And so I've always like, and I know that it's law of attraction. I know it's not just him. I know that I had that fear before him. It's just been magnified with him. Like right. He's just like a karmic teacher here for me to learn this lesson. Right. Yeah. And to get over it and to just be like, guess what, bitches? I'm going to shine no matter what. And so, but I'm afraid, but that's the thing. Like I have a friend who he's been like so beautiful and patiently waiting like for us to like launch a mastermind and do an online group. And I've just been like terrified because my area of expertise is in motherhood. And it's like the area that I love working in. And you know how like most people have like the fear of being like a fraud. I have an ex who literally texts me, "You're a fraud." Like, so it's like, and I know this is the thing that he found to like get under my skin because he knows it's the thing I care about so much, you know, and I know the logical part of it, the logical piece of it is I know what he's doing, but I still have to clear this up energetically. Yeah. And it's like this week I had so many like fuck up moments that I would like stupid things. Like I couldn't find his homework and then he left his home, like things that were just annoying that I was just like, oh my God, Marcella, you've got to clean this up because I know it's him getting to me. Right. And I need to let go of that. I need to let go of it. Because this is also the thing this has been one of the things that's been holding me back from, like, I used to have a Facebook talk show on a platform for moms, like a national platform for moms. Robin is saying haters. Yeah, girl. I mean, and I literally stepped down because he would watch my shows and then quote things back to me, like mocking me. And I just was like, I wanted to become invisible. I was like, I just don't want him looking at me. I don't want him in my space. And so I've gone like into hiding and so I need to clear this up. I really need to clear this up. So yeah, I want to be done with that. And then the money piece, like the abundance piece of it is also something that I want to clean up because, I still am having conversations. Like I have still yet to pitch to this couple, like my pricing. And I got a new family that like reached out to me today and they were like, we need you to work with our daughter, like ASAP. And I feel so confident. Like, I know I can help this girl. Like I'm so happy. Like she's the one asking for help and the parents reached out and thought of me. And so I felt like I've been having this ongoing conversation in my head because these were people that were original supporters of me. Like when I worked with I Help Moms, like this national platform. So they knew like my old pricing, right? So they knew that I charged $150 the hour before. And I just feel like, it's almost like, it's like, who are you? Like, it's like, oh, you raise your rates in a pandemic. You know what I mean? Like that's the story I'm telling myself. Yeah. And then it's like, so the story I've been telling myself, like the compromise was to say to them, like, listen, I've raised my rates like twice since the last we worked. Because it has been like a year since I worked with them or more. Right. And to tell them like right now, this is how I'm working. These are my packages. I know this is what you used to pay for our work together. And it's all, I don't like tell, like, I know, I feel like I'm about to tell the teacher I didn't do my homework, but I'm going to tell you. I wanted to say something like, listen, I understand we're in a pandemic and I so appreciate you guys have been like my supporters from the very beginning. And I feel like for the I Help Moms family, like I want to just give you guys the opportunity, almost like a sliding scale fee from where I am to where I used to be and where you guys feel comfortable, almost like an honor system. Like, where do you feel comfortable paying based on what I'm charging today and what I used to charge you guys? So that's the conversation I've been having with myself. Like, and I have to have this conversation with them soon because the family that wants me to see the little girl, like they want it ASAP. And then the couple, I'm going to try to talk to them also like this week. So I'm like, I don't know. I know I have to, I feel like I'm like Laura is so gonna tell me I'm chicken shit. I'm like so scared. I'm like
I've
being
never
like,
in a million years called anyone chicken shit. So
I know, but I'm like
so
calling
all
myself.
of this is your projections.
Yes,
So you know how last time you were like, I'm not doing every little bit of everyone's homework that everyone's being assigned, and I'm like, do what you're called to do, and that's going to get you your results. Remember how you got your fucking goal for 5K a month?
Yes.
By doing what was in
Yes.
alignment to you. And that's like the thing that I preach the most is do what's in
Yes.
alignment to you.
Yes, 100%.
So if you connect to your heart and you're like, I'm feeling so called to support this little girl, and I know that this is like right for me and it's transitional right now, and this is like what I'm feeling called to do. I have people that I feel really called to support that I do different things with. So like you get to be the business owner in your fucking company.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
if you feel called to, you can offer a sliding scale. If you're choosing that so that you don't have to up level into the version of you that's like, I only work in packages, that's the part that you also get to do the work on. And you can also use it as, okay, beautiful, this just came into my awareness and I can do what I'm feeling called to with them and offer some kind of sliding scale or a middle ground rate or a stair step rate. And you can do your work behind the scenes because you're noticing and you want to call yourself chicken shit.
Yes, totally. And
so that
and,
would
and
be
that's the
coming
thing.
up if you were like, no, I'm so guided to do this. So you already know that there's a piece of you that's holding yourself back there.
Yes.
That's all
Yes.
your own awarenesses.
Yes.
With
Yes.
TA awareness.
And that's like my, again, like the story, the money story, you know, the fear of charging, the fear of raising rates. And I love what you shared earlier about like looking in the mirror and like saying like, my rate is $250 the hour or like $500 the hour. Like, you know what I mean? Like jump and just be like, you know, expand and like, and I know I see it with my clients that they're like, you know, what they're able to accomplish or what they can transform. I'm like, there's no price on that. Like, why do you feel bad about it?
Right.
And so, yeah, I definitely want to clear that up. And then I got another offer for the house.
Awesome. That's amazing.
And also the price range that I wanted. And this week is their inspection. And so hopefully I'll get everything done that, you know, like that's the plan, like to get everything done this week, get us ready for inspection, which is Monday. And just also clear and release like my energetic attachment to the house and let go and welcome this new family, because I also think that fear is sort of the thing that's been holding me back from letting go and stepping into the unknown, because I feel like, holy shit, like this is happening. And like making the decisions about the healing center, like what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? Am I going to buy the land now? Like, it's almost like the bigness of it, I get scared of the bigness. Right. It's like my mom was saying to me last night, she's like, Marcella, you understand, like you killed the lion and now you're like afraid of like the dead body. She's like, you already moved all these pieces and got all these pieces in place that like nobody would have thought would have all gotten to alignment. And now you're afraid, like now you're freaking out. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what that's about. So I am freaking out a little bit. So I want to feel excited about the unknown. Like with Kelly, I think Kelly was the one saying it about, you know, like just feeling excited and not being afraid and not being afraid to speak up and to express what's going on, like to be able to assume the leadership position that I need to take within my family and within our board and with like what we're doing. Like I've been so used to, and I think this has to do with personality and this has to do with my clinical training. I've never talked about the inner workings of like what goes on with my work. It's been in a vault for 20 years. Like I don't discuss my work with anybody other than a mentor, a supervisor. Like very specific people, like, do I open the vault? So talking about what I want to my family, like being able to convey the message of the healing center, is I've noticed that I'm like they're waiting on you to tell them what you want.
Mm-hmm.
They want to hear from you. You have to talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like just telling you, like, my stomach's hurting.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, because I think what I did in my family was I took a step back.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just like, you do you, boo. Like, you know, like, I just love them from afar. I love them one-on-one. But then in the group dynamics, I would just go back.
Right.
And now they're like calling me to the front. And I'm like, okay, this feels so weird. So yeah, I want to step into that leadership, and I want to feel good about sharing with them and not feeling like, you know, I think part of it is the fear of, because I've kept so much of this to myself. It's like, I am sensitive or vulnerable to hear, like, you're crazy, girl. Like, what? Because I feel like I've always been the different one.
Right.
I've always been the different one in my house. So, so even though they're wanting to grasp all of this, you know, like this awakened consciousness, and they're, I mean, I love seeing that in them, but we're still in very different worlds.
Mm-hmm.
We're still in very different worlds. So sharing that, I've been afraid to, like, really, like, almost like I'm in the closet. Like, I'm just like, I can't tell them what's really going on in my mind. So I'd like to clear that up. I'd like to really clear up. And I also had something happen with a mentor that I love and trust and admire, where, like, you know, one of my issues is fear of money, fear of talking about money, fear of looking at money.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to her, like, she was going through something personal, and, like, we hadn't worked for like a month.
Mm-hmm.
We hadn't had sessions for like a month. And I was like feeling weird, because I'm like, she's sending me an invoice and we haven't worked in like a month.
Okay.
So I was like dreading. I'm like, how do I have this conversation with her? Again, my fear of, like, the backlash, right? Of, like,
Right.
And so I was like, I understand she's going through something difficult. I love her. I'm here for her, but I want to better understand. I want to have a conversation. I just want to understand, like, where are we that feels good for both of us, right? And so, and she lost her shit. She got really upset. Like, and I was just like, oh, this is not good. Like, coming from your spiritual teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And all I asked was for a conversation. And so, but I also realized, again, like, back to the whole karmic teacher thing. And I've realized, like, my energy has been very strong the last couple of weeks, where good stuff happens in HD, and then the bad stuff also happens in HD. And so I take full responsibility that it was my fear that I projected and manifested it, right? It was like, yes, of course, she also needs to take responsibility for what she did.
Right.
But
you both co-created it. Like,
yeah,
she could have added clarity of being like, hey, we're, like, I don't know what kind of container that you're in, but, like, if you're in a 12-month container with, like, monthly installments or something, then yeah, installments come out every month. But, like, if you're like, we have a contract that says we have 3 sessions a month for 12 months and we had 0 sessions, and you're not planning on ever recuperating those sessions, like, then that doesn't make sense either. So, like, you asking for clarity is totally valid.
Yeah, and I felt good about it afterwards. Like, I felt good, because even though she lost it, I stood strong, and it was like, wow, I almost felt like I passed the test.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I didn't crumble. You know, this is somebody I love and trust, and she's an authority figure in my eyes. And I stood strong. Like, I wasn't intimidated. I didn't go reactive. I just said to her, I asked you for a conversation.
Yeah.
And I think it's fair to be able to talk about money. And you know, this is one of my issues, like, to have clarity and to talk about money. So, so I felt good about that. I was like, good job, Marcella. You stood up and you talked, and because that was, like, my fear, like, with my dad growing up, you know, that I couldn't speak up. And I think that's also all tied to now with the Healing Center and our board, like our family board, is like I learned to not speak up, right? So I'm asking for clearing on this fear of speaking up, stepping into my leadership, that it's okay. Like and not only it's okay, but I need to do this for me to like be in integrity with myself.
Yes.
Whew, I know that was a lot.
Awesome. And I love it because like themes of what you're sharing is coming up for other people too. So like a big thing coming up for everyone is like afraid of their light, afraid of like fully owning your power and like stepping forward into it. So a really great thing is Marianne Williamson has a quote that talks about like that we're most afraid of our light and our power and the brightness and like the love inside of us. So like that can be homework for anyone who wants it. So like go find that quote, literally Google it, like put that up, and like every time you get afraid of your light, read it. Because it is powerful to be like, okay, yeah, like big world changers have this coming up in their fields, and it's normal, and we also get to do our work on it. So we'll also do the clearings on it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Other like big conscious pieces coming out for like everyone as well is like, don't assume anything about anyone's money. Do you know how many people I know who are working overtime in the pandemic right now? Because they don't have enough people, because they don't have enough trained people, because hours are growing fucking crazy. Like, there's a lot of people who are making more money. I'm making way more money than I used to during a pandemic. And I know that that's not everyone's reality. And yes, there are like hard times going on for certain people, and there aren't for others. So you also can't make those assumptions. But also, you making more money from your high-end private paying clients gives you the ability to, from your overflow, offer pro bono if you fucking want to, or like low rate investments. Like you get to do more things when you're taken care of. So the priority is like you're not in a place where you're like, oh, well, I decided to give everything away for free during a pandemic. It's like you're like not being able to eat. Like that's not going to help anyone. Like you get to receive, especially for your private work. And if you feel called to making more affordable things, you can be like, cool, so I'll do a group program, so that other people who can't afford the highest tier can still get support.
I love that.
Or you can do a one-off workshop, or you can do a free webinar or free video series. Like, but those free or low-end things need to be supported by a structure where you are getting paid, so that it is coming from an overflow, and you're not just like in people pleaser mode being like, I'm working 90 hours a week, barely making any money, but I feel like I'm burning out trying to help some people who aren't even really invested in it because they're just kind of getting stuff for free. So it's you getting to choose who you're serving. Yeah. Because also there's restaurants that are charging more right now, and there's some places that I'm like, I wish you fucking charge more. Like if you charge more, I could like support you better. Like I'm supporting specific local things that I want to stay in business. And if they don't give me the capacity to do that, like if you are a 5-star restaurant and you're not raising your rates during this time because you can't afford like lower amount of people sitting in your thing, then that's on you if you go out of business. Like that's how kind of how supply and demand works. Like, yeah, we're in like really shitty fucking times, but also you get to be at McDonald's and serving people at the McDonald's level because there's a ton of people at that level, or you get to be the 5-star restaurant and you can still eat 5-star. There's still people who still have their same job, same savings, same everything, and are basically living kind of the same, only they might get takeout more often. So there's so many different realities that are going on out there in the world. And like, think about how like you'd want to be perceived by other people. Do you want to be perceived by potential mentors as like, I don't know if she can afford it, but like maybe I'll give her like a sliding scale donation thing? Like, do you want people to be perceiving you like that? Or like have people not offer you a higher tier offering? Like if I found out that one of my mentors wasn't offering me something because they saw me as a smaller version of myself, I would not work with them. I'm like, no, you don't get to see me as small and also want to guide me there. Like,
wow, that's such a good point. That's such a good point. Wow, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, like during a pandemic, I made a huge fucking like equivalent like 50K investment in myself, which I have never just been like, okay, cool, let's like do this level. Like if that mentor had been like, I'm not even going to offer it to Laura because she's not there yet, I'd be like, oh, what the fuck? Don't want you to be in my world. Don't want you to teach me. So you get to be like, oh yeah, I see all my people as conscious beings with choice who have full ability to use their money or their resources or their investments or their savings as the way that they desire to without judging it. There's people who are spending a fuck ton of money on things that are numbing them out right now, like crappy food and alcohol and other things. Like, people still have money, so you get to choose, okay, I can offer you all these choices. If they choose your lowest end thing, that's their choice. Beautiful, wonderful, amazing. They made the best decision for themselves. If they're like, actually, I want one-on-one support with you in between our calls and I want all these other extra benefits and features, then they get to make that investment level. Okay, so cool. As long as everyone's on the same page for that conscious piece. And then we can do all kinds of downloads. So, and it's also an hour in. So I'm gonna do downloads for probably like 10-ish minutes and then kind of do like a bio break so that everyone's not like, oh my God, this is like a 2-hour long call and it just goes on forever. So just let everyone's aware of that as well. Okay, and then a couple more things. Okay. Can we clear that burnout, please? Yes, definitely. Burnout. And then for abundance, yes. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Cool. So I'll get everyone to take some deep cleansing breaths, just grounding you into your body. And would you like to clear, release, and let go of all of that heaviness, junk, negative energy, and overwhelm that just came up from your share or other people's shares? You can clear, release, and let go of any and all baggage and negative energies and junk and like entities that aren't even yours. You can just clear, release, and let go of everything that's at the surface that's currently ready to be released, and that you can fill up that space with unconditional love from your higher power. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And you want to give yourself permission to receive even more into your world, that you know what that looks like, what that feels like, that you can honor yourself and the value and the gifts and the certifications and the experiences that you've had in the world, so that by sharing them with others, you get to receive both financially and energetically in return. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. Want to clear, release, and let go of any and all energies around feeling like a fraud or bad for charging or bad for asking for a certain amount for things or products or services or other people's offerings, that you can clear, release, and let go of the heaviness around asking for money and feeling like you're taking money from someone else. And if you'd like to clear that, you can say yes. And you want to know what it looks like and feels like to energetically step into an alignment with the frequency of offering, that you're making invitations and offers to people that they're getting to choose, and that you can clear, release, and let go of any and all old junk or negative energy around feeling like you're taking people's money, that you're being sleazy or salesy or sleazy car salesman or corrupt or bad in any way. And if you'd like to clear that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of the weird feeling around receiving money and receiving money for doing basically nothing, for just offering something to someone that's life transformational. Do you want to know that you can receive value both energetically and physically with finances and your dollars, if that's dollars or euros or whatever your system is, that you can allow yourself the freedom and permission to receive money with ease. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all old paradigms, frameworks, blueprints, belief systems, stories, and excuses around it needing to be hard to make money, that there has to be some kind of hustle or like hard work on you or a burden or something that like takes away from your energetic body or physical body, that there has to be some kind of sacrifice of your time or energy in any way, shape, or form in order to receive money for it. And if you'd like to clear that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of the stress around money, around talking about offers and invitations and products and programs and events and different ways of structuring the business. You can allow yourself to see the benefit in the different types of program structures and in the way that you feel called to structuring and offering your business. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all negative energy around like feeling bad about selling things that are a different price in a different currency or a different person's world, or that there's other offers or promotions out there where they can get different prices, and that you can allow yourself to feel an integrity with what you feel called to offering and allowing other people to find different prices. If you like that, you can say yes. And like a conscious piece about that is that that exists in the real world, like in the quote, like physical, like if you go to Walmart, like if you subscribe to specific coupons, there might be a coupon that someone else who's scouring the internet for coupons 24/7 could get a different rate than someone who's just going to the store. So there's that happening in all sorts of businesses. So you can just kind of like have that as a conscious piece too. And you want to allow yourself to receive easily multiple income streams in your business from your programs, products, and offerings, and then also from people that you affiliate with, that you have joint ventures with, that you can support them by getting referrals and your referral bonuses and all those kind of things. You can allow yourself to have permission to receive value into your world by sharing value with others, regardless of what the monetary amount of that is or the amount of work that you feel like you need to do in like terms of hours or your energetic load to provide them some kind of thing on the back end for it, that you can give yourself permission to receive with ease. And if you'd like all of that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all inauthentic energy around pitching people, around having to like structure it in a specific way or say it to them in the exact same way every time. That you can clear, release, and let go of any and all old structures around quote pitches or sales scripts or like anything that doesn't feel in an alignment with how you talk about the offers that you have in the world and the invitations for other people to work with you in them. And if you'd like to clear any and all of those like inauthentic vibes that just aren't in alignment with you, you can say yes. And you want to know what it looks like and feels like to add in some masculine energy of structure while also being free flow and in your feminine and giving yourself permission to have the best of both worlds for that, to have that unique harmonization for yourself, so that you can have the main pieces in your head, that you can have an outline, that you can have whatever you need for your unique business as there, as your offer, as your structure, so that you can stay on task and you can be intentional and that you can be clear on what you're offering and your guidelines and the container that you're providing, while also giving yourself permission to, especially with one-on-one, tailor it to their unique pain points, their unique desires, and as group and more larger scale, to the collective's needs, wants, desires that you're supporting them with in that specific container that you're creating. And if you would like that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all old embarrassing energies around it being like corny to say it a specific way or weird or just like not working with you, that you can give yourself permission to move in your own inspired action to create the communication system within yourself so you can clearly communicate to others what you're doing and how you can support them without feeling like you're doing something that isn't a good fit or like is weird for you to say, or being super controlling or being a control freak or anything like that, that you can clear those and give yourself permission to have the optimal amount of planning involved in your business with the unique amount of inspired action steps. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of the fear of being more visible, the fear of being in the public eye, of negative repercussions of that, of having negative comments or people seeing you as a spiritual or healer or woo person. You can clear, release, and let go of any and all fears around that, of being seen on a larger stage in a bigger room and on TV, on multiple platforms, on bigger stages with larger audiences, and that you can clear, release, and let go of the current nervousness and heavy energy that's been holding you back from being seen and that's been keeping you small, that you can clear, release, and let go of that now, and that you can also welcome different energies and fears or nervous energy as it comes up, that you can choose to transmute that in your own body, and that you can allow yourself to walk forward with courage, with bravery, with your authentic truth and your communication with whatever's coming up, that it doesn't have to be completely gone or like non-existent, that you can move forward with fears, with nervous energy, with those things without it holding you back from speaking your truth, so that you can gain skills and that you can grow outside of your comfort zone, so that these become normalized in your system and less and less and less over time. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. Okay, so one thing that came up later, and we'll go a little bit deeper on other things, but this is coming up for a variety of people, of like wanting to like not have any nervous energy as you're growing outside your comfort zone, or wanting to like not have fear at all. And like that's part of the process. Like sometimes our fear is literally like guiding us to be like, yeah, do this thing that you're fucking scared of doing. Like this is your next step. It's coming up for that, so that we can like clear it and like give yourself the spaciousness to grow outside your comfort zone. But you also have to go first. Like you showing up allows the universe to like meet you, but you get to go first. Like the whole leap of faith thing, like we get to jump first for it to work. And what sometimes people will create stories of is that, oh, people who are going on Facebook Live or doing Instagram or putting themselves out there, that it's easy for them, or that they didn't go through the phase where they were nervous, where they didn't know how people were going to respond, where they had fear and they did it with the fear. So in the book called Big Magic, so anyone who likes to read, you can definitely do that. It was a really fun book to read. It's by Elizabeth Gilbert. She's the one who also did like Eat, Pray, Love. So she talks about how fear is coming on the journey, that as courageous people who are leading different ways of being in the world, that fear is going to be here because we're doing something different than what the masses are doing. So the fear is coming on the road trip, but it doesn't get any decision power. So fear doesn't get to choose its next, or the road, or the speed, or the path, or anything, but fear is going to come. So you can welcome it instead of being in huge resistance of it, and be like, okay, I understand that there's a total fear of being seen and being like having haters or trolls or all those things. And I also did like a deep dive clearing on that if anyone didn't get those from when I had trolls the other week after being Zoom bombed. So like if it's fears of those, you can do clearings on it so that it's not as intense in your body, that you're not like stuck from moving forward. And also you can be like, okay, and sometimes I have fear and this happens. Like I've been very open that when I've done new things, like my body doesn't always respond really well to it. Like when I did my Love and Light show for the first time, when I like spoke on a big stage, like in front of 50 people at once, like I totally get diarrhea before. I'm like, okay, my body's gonna go through this and I'm going to take care of myself, and I understand that this is what's happening, and I'm really grateful I don't throw up. Some people throw up, like will throw up for like a while before their first thing, and I'm like, I'm really grateful I'm not at that level. And they just like literally have a team that like has mints, or like that they have like their toothbrush and stuff. Like you can honor yourself and honor your body, and then be like, okay, so like this is going to happen and we're growing and this is going to be part of it. Cool. I've also like grown outside those things where I'm like, okay, well, like it's not happening for like newer endeavors. So like when I first did a Love and Light show, where I was like, I don't know what they're gonna say and what's gonna happen, and this is so new, and like hundreds of people could be watching and all those things, like, and then I'm like, okay, body, we just did that, good job, and like we're checking that done. Like it's not a consistent thing. If that becomes a consistent thing with anyone's health, we can definitely like tune into what's going on there. But like being aware that like, okay, when I do really new things, my body could respond in these ways, having ways that you can honor your body and be like, okay, these are ways that I can like take care of it while it's happening, and know that you getting on more and more stages is going to normalize that. So like Tony Robbins getting on stage, he's not getting like stage fright beforehand, but he's done it so often. And me jumping on a Facebook Live or doing 100+ episodes of Love and Light show, like after the second one, I was good. Like, but you get to be a human being growing outside your comfort zone in fear, in nervousness. I have a friend who's created this world called Nervited, nervous and excited, that it's the same, that you can be nervous and excited and you can use that energy. So those like butterflies in your stomach, you get to be like, cool, I get to transmute it. Like, this is energy. It'd be really kind of shitty if you were just like, blah about what you're about to like go on stage for and like share with people. Like, instead you can be like, cool, this is my energy. This is a live energy moving through my body and I'm choosing to name it as excitement. Like literally naming those butterflies as excitement and being like, cool, I'm so excited right now, and getting jazzed about it. And like using your body to consciously shift your mindset around what's going on, and then have that going forward in the future, where you can also put it in like different areas in the world. So I know that some people are single, some people have partnerships right now, but like I've shifted the energy of butterflies into excitement so much that a couple years ago I went on like a first date after like my 2-year relationship, and I was like, oh my God, I feel so and it literally, I was about to say nervous and it shifted to excitement. And I'm like, I fucking love my subconscious brain. Like, you can retrain that in. So even if all the times that you go live right now where you're just like saying that you're nervous or you're nervous to go on bigger stages and stuff, you can like shift it to, I'm so excited, and have that like as a conscious piece. Because we're doing all the subconscious pieces, but the conscious also is really supportive. So having them both in alignment can be super, super wonderful. Okay. So do you want to know what it looks like and feels like to feel confident and calm and grounded on bigger stages, on TV shows, being interviewed by other people, being on other people's podcasts and platforms, in their groups, and as guest speakers, that you can give yourself permission to shine your light, being in a grounded space as it's happening, and allow yourself to take care of your physical human body before and after, to allow yourself to shine brightly. And if you'd like all of that, you can say yes. Okay, so I'll just do a quick check-in there before we take a like 3-minute bio break. How's everyone's bodies feeling with all those downloads? Awesome, yay! Cool. So I'm going to, I think it'll keep going on Facebook, but I can at least pause it on Zoom so we won't have like a 3-minute just like blank recording. But okay, so we'll come back in 3 minutes, get more water, take care of your body, stretch out if you need to, and we'll be back really quick. And we're going to jump back into the download. So definitely keep staying hydrated and taking care of your body. Okay. So do you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all fears coming up around doing new things with clients, around having deliverables with them that you haven't experienced before, and that you can clear, release, and let go of the fear of it not being well received, or not doing a good job with it, or them not being clear around what was happening and what they got. You can just clear, release, and let go of any and all fears around any and all deliverables that you might have with your clients. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. Don't know if I had turned that on or off before, but that'll make it brighter. Okay. And do you want to know what it looks like and feels like to shift into excitement even more fully with what you're offering to your clients and with how you can show up and serve them in both the energetics of your private container and any and all support or bonus features that they have outside of your container, where you're talking to them one-on-one as well. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And you want to know what it looks like and feels like to think positively about the outcomes instead of worrying about the worst case scenario happening, and that you can allow yourself full and total permission to expect that your clients are going to love your offering, love the deliverables that you have, the worksheets that you're creating, any additional features that you can trust in yourself, and that you're magnetizing your ideal clients who will really enjoy all the bonuses and features and upgrades and benefits of your programs and packages. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And you want to know what it looks like and feels like to receive your outcomes with ease. That you can allow yourself to step into the version of you who receives with ease, and that you can continue to expand your ability to receive. Receive compliments, receive pleasure, receive money, receive new amazing soulmate clients, and that you can allow yourself to continue to expand your capacity for receiving. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. Okay, so this is kind of fun because Robin did show interest in energetic orgasms. So we can kind of play with maybe doing like a bonus thing with like some erotic blueprint fun things, like what energetic orgasms are, no touch orgasms and fun pleasure and stuff like that too. We can kind of like add that in because that's feeling like a fun thing. Because what I like literally will say to clients is that if you're not experiencing the ability to receive in one area, it's happening in others. So a really fun way that we can all play with this is like receiving more in the areas that we want. So if you want to receive more in your partnership or your own self-pleasure practice, like when you expand your ability to receive in one area, it's going to overflow into another. So one thing that I've definitely shared a lot with private clients is that if you're not allowing, especially as women, but Derek's private and we can talk about separate things for him if he wants to too. But as a woman, for example, or just like person in general, so it doesn't have to be gendered even, but like if you're not allowing your partner, so typically women have more like shutdown around receiving than men, that's why I'm like bringing that up. So if you're not like feeling good about a man just like giving to you for like 2 minutes in a row, to be like, oh no, like I can't have him like go down on me for 2 minutes, like that's too much, like, and can't allow yourself to like receive pleasure from like your actual partner for like more than 2 minutes, like then that's definitely showing up in your ability to receive money from the universe. To be like, if you're shut down in the different areas of your life for receiving and you're like, I'm craving more, I'm desiring more, even if your like partner does or doesn't want, like that doesn't even matter. It's just you allowing yourself to receive more in the fun areas, which has been like super fun for me to explore with and like other clients to explore with on their journey, that the more you allow yourself to receive in some of the very fun ways that you can receive, instead of doing like even more inner child healing work, because sometimes there's a time and place for inner child healing work. Sometimes it's like, cool, if you're like, I'm going to do a baby step here and receive for 5 minutes in a row, just fully receiving in the bedroom, or 20 minutes or an hour, like expanding your capacity to receive in one area is going to overflow into the other. So regardless of your partners, regardless if you have a partner or not, like you allowing yourself to receive more pleasure in one area is going to expand in financial world as well, which is super fun. And you can play with like sex, magic, and like all the wonderful things. But I also don't want to get in trouble with Facebook. I just realized we're streaming to Facebook and I don't want to get banned. Okay. Awesome. Is that a thing? Yeah, it's totally a thing. Like I literally came back from like 41 days of basic like vacation and like all kinds of fun things, and we can go deeper into that when we're not streaming on Facebook, because I just realized that that could get me in trouble. So we will stay safe for Facebook. But yeah, that's totally a thing. And it's super fun because then you can receive in one area or another, or you can like get into like really deep surrender and like get into the kink play world and like be like, yep, literally can't do anything, can't move, but I get to receive and like play in that world. So deeper levels of letting go of control, of surrendering, of receiving, and what expands in one area expands in the other. So it's super, super fun. Fun way to play. Because yeah, I came back to like a 20K month. So I fucking really, really, really expanded my ability to receive after all the fun things that I'm totally not wanting to share because we're on Facebook. Maybe I'll share it towards the end. I'll like, shoot, I don't know how to like cut it at Facebook at the end. Anyway, we'll figure it a way. Like, I like that Robin was interested in the energetic orgasms. Maybe we'll do something specifically. I know, stop the share. I can't share. Like, I don't know how to just pause it on Facebook. Okay, stop live stream. Maybe I can do that at the end, and I can stop the live stream on Facebook and test that out. Stop the share on Facebook, yes. Okay, cool. I'll put that as a piece so that we definitely hit that at the end. I'm literally writing down what I'm going to say later that I can't say now. Cool. Good idea. I love the resourcefulness in the group. I'm totally cool with that. Yay! I know, it's so fucking fun. It's like, really, I get to like just receive and it expands. It's so fucking fun. Okay. So you also want to clear, release, and let go of any and all constriction around things closing off, around clients ending their contracts or it becoming the end of a program or an offering or a thing that you're in, that you can clear, release, and let go of the scarcity around a container ending, or a client relationship ending, and instead allow yourself to see the opportunities that are coming through and the ability for yourself to step into all of the spaciousness that you're creating for an even better life, relationship, client, circumstance, project, that you can give yourself that ability to be excited about the space that's being created instead of focusing your energy on where you don't want it to be, which is the lack and the scarcity and the things leaving you. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And you want to know who you are and what your life looks like when you are in alignment with your next step, giving yourself permission to truly tune into your heart, to what you're feeling called to in this exact moment, and that you know what that looks like and feels like, stepping into your own unique inspired action steps for that, regardless of what other people are going to say or think that they should do, or what you should or shouldn't do as you move forward as an entrepreneur, or as your participation in nonprofit, or your participation in other things or projects going on in your world, or a corporate job, or any other income streams. That you can give yourself permission to always tune in to what is supportive for you and your highest and best good. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And you want to allow yourself to have a break when you're tired, when you're exhausted, when you're burnt out, when you're running on fumes, that you can clearly let go of the energy of that being normalized in your system, and instead allowing yourself the spaciousness to release that tension, to allow yourself to relax, to be rejuvenated in your body, and to allow yourself to be moving forward from a more full cup. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all fear around your brain weaseling its way out of you doing what's in alignment, or what you know that you, quote, should do, or what you are truly being called to do. That you can give yourself permission to really be in alignment with your desires, and to allow yourself to bring in revenue while helping people, without feeling like that has to be an either or thing where you can do one or the other, but you can't do both. And if you'd like to clear those, you can say yes. And you want to know who you are and what your life looks like, saying your new rate in the mirror with ease, communicating it to clients and other people, and allowing yourself to claim it for yourself without feeling bad or guilty, or that you might be judged. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And remembering to stay hydrated. So do you want to know what it looks like and feels like to clear, release, and let go of any and all old energy around doing something in the past, running an offer or a webinar or a program or a launch that you didn't have the best experience from? That you can clear, release, and let go of the exhaustion, the old energy, the perceived failures, and allow yourself to mark these lessons as complete around the difficulties or things that were out of alignment that came up for you. That you can mark those lessons as complete on all levels. And you can also give yourself permission to move forward in inspired action around your launches in the future. That you can do them from an overflowing, excited, lit up space. And that you can also clear, release, and let go of any and all fears or judgments around being exhausted in the future around launches, or them not turning out how you wanted them to ideally. And if you'd like to clear that and step into that alignment, you can say yes. Do you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all comparisons that are coming up around what you feel like you should have done, or what your original goal was, or what other people are going to think, or the people in the group are going to think? That you can clear, release, and let go of any and all fears of being judged or being perceived as less than for getting a specific end result that was or wasn't good or bad compared to what you thought it should have been. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. Okay. And then one thing that was coming up as like a conscious piece for everyone, and like there's never like, oh, everyone has this mandatory homework, but I'm kind of feeling like it would be super supportive for everyone to like win once a week in the group, big or small. Like it could just be like, I showed up to the call, yay, win, get to mark that as a win. And celebrate a failure in the group. So like, I made this mistake. My thing looked weird. Like bragging out and being like, hey, this thing happened. I put myself out there in the world and I showed up enough for me to make a fucking mistake, for me to be human, for me to fail. That you get to celebrate that too. And that we can normalize that within the community instead of being like, oh my God, it's a bad thing that you didn't get 1 million people at your free webinar. Like, to be like, I wanted 20 people on my webinar and only 1 person showed up. Then you can be like, I fucking put out a webinar and it didn't meet my end goal, but I fucking did it. Yay! And we can normalize that and celebrate that, because failure and mistakes and the learning lessons are part of the success. It's built into the cake. You can't have a success cake without failures and fuck ups and learning lessons. It's part of it. And the more you can make big mistakes, the more you can learn from it. We can also learn from mentors and other people's experiences and those kind of things. So you can lessen your personal failures and mistakes and the hardship of it or the intensity of it and all those things. And it's part of the journey. So anyone who wants to celebrate wins and failures, anyone committing to that? Being like 1 win, 1 failure a week? Woo! Awesome, love it, yay. Okay. And again, you don't have to. It's whatever everyone chooses, but I love that for the people who are feeling called. Okay. So then around the hot seat demos, did you want to clear, release, and let go of any unsure energy around holding space for multiple people, holding space for people who could be in very vulnerable situations, sharing confidential or non-confidential pieces of information, people who could not enjoy what they shared after the fact of sharing it, that you can allow yourself to step into the leader who can hold that container for group, for having a demo, for having a hot seat, for having people having real life experiences in front of other people at the exact same time, that you can allow yourself to step into that leader without being afraid of the potential worst case scenarios or consequences or negative things holding you back from doing that. And that you can honor yourself as you grow into that leader and as you continue to allow yourself to hold space for bigger and bigger groups of people. And if you'd like all of that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all people please or energy of wanting everyone to feel happy with you all the time, of wanting to be pleased by you going above and beyond for their benefit, that you can clear, release, and let go of the fear of them demanding something from you, of them feeling like you won't be a good coach, or you're not supportive, or you're not a good person for not doing what they're demanding or what they're deciding that they want after the fact, after they commit to a different agreement in the container. And that you can clear, release, and let go of any and all cords, contracts, vows, commitments, or obligations of feeling like you have to make sure everyone is 100% happy with you 100% of the time, that you can clear, release, and let go of that people pleaser energy and identity, and that you can give yourself permission to run your company and run your business and run your groups and run your webinars and run your demos and your hot seats in the way that you feel called to. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And you want to know who you are and what your life looks like when you take those trigger moments of yourself or clients and mine it for gold, so that it can be supportive for your client, it can be supportive for you, it can be supportive for others, and that you can give yourself permission to move in your own unique inspired action steps in how you desire to move forward in supporting that specific person, in knowing that that demo supported the group, and in knowing how you can move forward in offering them guidance and support as they move through whatever triggers are coming up for them, and in your own way supporting your own system in growing into the next level leader who continues to be able to hold space for them and future people who could have this come up for themselves as well. And if you would like that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of the fear around them demanding you do something, feeling like you're not respecting them or their vulnerability or protecting them, or that they might not participate live in the future, or that other fears around not wanting to work with you or not wanting to like be in your container in the future, around it preventing you from having other clients in the future, potentially a bad reputation, or that you're not being confidential or keeping them safe, or that they might want their money back. That you can clearly release and let go of any and all fears coming up around that, and give yourself permission to fully and completely honor the container that you created and the original intention of that creator, of that container, without feeling like you need to manipulate it once it's been created to everyone's unique individual ask or request or demand. You can allow yourself to be the leader who created the container, and allowing other people to be conscious human beings with choice who are spiritual adults who chose to enter the container with those roles and those boundaries that you clearly communicated, and that you know how to draw in those ideal soulmate clients who are mature, responsible spiritual adults who take self-responsibility for what they've committed to and what they are agreeing to in your containers. And if you would like that, you can say yes. Okay, so like a conscious piece coming through here, and you can choose to do it if you want to or not. Like you can even put it in your contracts. Be like, hey, if you're part of my group program, these are being recorded. This is how it's doing. So anyone who's not familiar with that, then it can be like clearly spelled out there. I don't typically see that like for group coaching calls that I'm in with other mentors and coaches, even the ones that I've been in like the past 3+ years, like there's nothing in their contracts to me being like, hey, this is recorded and they're gonna see it in the future. Like I've literally shared very vulnerable stuff and then later come to find out like they had zero like communication with me beforehand that, hey, what we're doing is maybe gonna be digital in the future. Like they're like, oh, this is a live container for us, and shared nothing about future things. And then I find out that other people are like learning about it. I'm like, oh my God. So you get to communicate that in any way that you desire to, also knowing that that's kind of like a standard within the coaching world, that anything that's recorded could be sold again in the future as a digital product. I know that like in the Tony Robbins world, for like being their hot seat, for example, like if you get on the mic with Tony, then they like write down your name and they get you to like sign another thing. But I think that's more like because he's so fucking huge, that when you go to those events, literally like before you enter the room, there's like these big like contracts that you have to read. And I'm one of those people who like actually will spend the like 15 minutes of the line that's like holding other people back. And I'm like, hey, if you did not send me the contract beforehand, I'm reading it. Like I'm an old accountant, like my brain goes to like, I need to know what I'm signing up for. So like I will literally read those where it's like, your image could be shared in perpetuity forever. Anything that you share at this event could be used in our marketing promotions and stuff like that in the future. So like people know going into those containers that, hey, if you talk live in the group setting, that's going to be shared in the future. But yeah, like they do extra special stuff at like Tony Robbins events to be like, okay, you just talked, like this is your number, this is your ID. We have proof that you signed the contract that this is being recorded and all the things. So when you get even bigger, that could be like a bigger part of your structure. But right for now, if you want to have a part of your like Facebook community guidelines or something like that, like these things are public, these things are private, just it's like super clear, and you can like over communicate. If you want to do it like that, you totally can, but it's not like a necessity. How's that feeling for everyone? For like, cool. Sounds good. Okay. So we have Marcella's stuff, and then we'll do some like fun pleasure things, but also someone to join live afterwards. Is there anything that you would like to get covered, Lev? Just that I'm like kind of aware of time and downloads and level that we're going to go deep into.
Yeah, I had a few things. Sorry, I don't know what happened, but there must have been a daylight savings thing between us or something, because it's like an hour. It's an hour forward now, and I'm like, no, I thought I was on time. So I apologize. So anyway, I had a whole bunch of stuff to talk about, and I don't know what to choose now.
So what's the most prominent piece?
What should I share? Okay, I was gonna ask about my special offer for discount sessions. So the way you would word that, would you like actually say the dollar amount, or would you just be like 50% off? And would you be like the total amount of sessions that you're offering, or just keep it vague? And then how would you do it?
So I'm curious about your intention. So like right off the bat, like what I've been told in the past, especially when I've like gotten new certifications and stuff like that, you feel like, hey, I just got certified in theta healing, so I'm offering a limited amount of spots, or 5 spots or whatever. If you know that it's like less than 10, then you can share. I'm offering 5 or 10 spots or something like that. Like if it's a low number, if you're offering 100 spots, just be like a limited amount or like a certain number of spots. To people who feel called to getting this thing cleared, this pain point, this benefit, like still sell them so that they understand what they're getting. And then it's literally like, well, do you want to share? Hey, it's this dollar amount in the thing, or do you want them to like click on the link? And then you find out, oh, this is how many people are clicking the link. And then once they see the price, then they're choosing to do it or not, like how well your page is converting, or like if you're doing it like that. If you're doing it more like sending them to the QD link, then you might as well just put the actual price there because they're going to see it on the page, regardless of if they sign up or not. So then it's like your choice of like, do you want it to be like, hey, 50% off? And that's like the graphic that you have in your post. And then them like read it and be like, okay, so 50% off is $50 or something like that.
Okay.
So does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't sure if there's like a specific way or something, but yeah, I'd rather do it. I think first way you suggested. Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that pretty much. Oh, I just was going to ask as well, yeah, about like screening people or like doing some sort of like target it to highly sensitive people and intuitives only, or like, you know, right. If you are a highly sensitive person, you know, invested in your health and well-being, send me a DM or something like that. Or just keep it like open to people who I guess if they're wanting healing, they're ready.
Okay, so again, I work with Blended Private Lease as well, so like I know a little bit more about her, so I'm able to like jump in a little bit deeper than typically if I like didn't know. You don't want to work with everyone. You don't want like 100 cancer patients coming through. Like you want to work with a specific type of person, and now you're like, okay, I want to work with 2019 Belinda. So like say this session is for people who have this issue, this issue, this issue, or this issue, this pain point, this desire, those kind of things, right? Because then it's all like play. Yeah. Like if you put that out there and you're like, I want someone who has this is who I'm here to help, then you get to be like, okay, how did that convert? How did that work? And play with the actual information that you're getting back without being like, oh, that's a failure if no one signs up. Be like, cool, that's information. There weren't people who readily identified as this, right? If you're like, holy shit, 50 people just applied because I said this, but actually half of them aren't even a good fit, then in your next post, you can be like, hey guys, this offering is for people who want this, who are this, who have this pain. And it's not for people who've never invested before. It's not for people who think that theta healing is bullshit and that all this woo stuff is not real. It's not for people like this. So I've seen people who post that, who like have, this offers for 1, 2, 3. This offer is not for not this, not this, not this. So don't put like 20 million things of like who it's for and not for, but just I'll give you clarity of, okay, how's your messaging converting?
Okay. Perfect. All right. That answers it. Thank you.
Awesome. I love that your stuff is like conscious work. That's easy. Cool. Okay. So we'll get into all of Marcella's stuff, which again was like coming through for everyone because there's definitely themes in her things that other people have too. So do you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all fears around being visible, around being seen by more people, and around people who could have negative intentions for you, your business, your world, or who could be out to get you? And if you would like to clear those, you can say yes. And you want to know what it looks like and feels like to feel safe being seen, to know that you are watched over, protected, and kept safe, and that you can allow yourself to step into your leadership, into the next level version of yourself with ease, speed, grace, joy, and love, allowing yourself to tune into the divine timing and the divine order of your life, and allowing yourself to shine brightly with that wisdom. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all fears around what exes could do, around what people who have negative intentions for you might be doing or not doing, and that you can give yourself permission to release and let go of old fears around needing to fly underneath the radar, around being worried that if good things happen, or if you share the good things will happen or are happening to you, that they'll use it against you, they'll use it as fodder for some kind of negative experience, or that your ex will go crazy and do negative things. If you'd like to clear all of that, you can say yes. And you want to give yourself permission to shine regardless of what's going on in your external world, and that you can own your areas of expertise without feeling like you're a fraud, having any imposter syndrome, or that you not being 1,000,000% perfect all of the time in it means that you're a fuck up or bad at it, or actually not good for trying to help anyone else with it. That you can allow yourself to support anyone who's at least one step behind you on their journey. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all fears around like the other shoe dropping, around your ex or anyone who's negative in your world getting to you, holding you back in some way, or making you feel like you need to be invisible or hidden or not showing up, and that you can clearly let go of the fears of being seen by them or having them be brought into your space, or other negative experiences around being more influential online, that you can clearly let go of the fear of being stalked or having people find out your information or doing negative things with that. And if you'd like to clear all of those on all levels, you can say yes. And I know that this is a thing that we did talk about in the last round, so it's also recorded for anyone who wants to go back to it. But also for Marcel in particular, like we talked about the technology pieces, that like you can block people. You can block people's accounts. You can block people on your personal page and your actual business page. So those are the things that you can do to protect yourself there. So I know that Marcel is not on anymore, but the haven't pitched the couple, the new pricing thing, I'm curious what's coming up around that. So if it's just stuff around money, do you want to clear, release, and let go of your resistance to receiving more money, to offering something that feels sleazy or bad or salesy because it's a quote pitch, and that you can give yourself permission to show up and offer something that's of service and give someone else permission to step into it if they're so called. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of the identity of needing to be a good girl, of needing to always do all of your homework, of doing exactly what you think that you need to do for other people as well as yourself, and that you can allow yourself to instead move in your own inspired action steps as you show up and serve your ideal clients. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all weird energy or bad thoughts or feelings or shame or guilt around raising your rates in general, or during a pandemic or a global environmental crisis or economic blah, 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 like you can clearly release and let go of the stories that other people will have or judgments that they'll have on who you are and how you're showing up and how you, quote, should be running your business. And that you can give yourself permission to serve from your overflow, move in inspired action with your rates, and also offer things that you feel called to when it is from a place of service, when it is from an overflow, and when it is a heart-centered calling. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. So again, a little bit reiterating the conscious piece from before, like people are making money right now. People are doing overtime right now. Like there's people who are literally like, there's so much work to do. It's fucking crazy. And there's like just more stuff added to their plate on top of everything else. So there are people who need so much healing energy, so much services, the ability to do self-care, like the awareness, like, oh, that I have a bad mindset around all these things. They're still making money. They're making even more money. Like they have their savings accounts. They have all these things going on in their world that you can still offer services at different tiers to them. And if you feel called to offering a sliding scale, you can do that without being in the like victim space of like, because it's donation based, because I'm assuming everyone's in a financial detriment right now. You can allow yourself to be in that empowered space and being like, because I'm being served over here, I can choose to offer a sliding scale. So it's the more empowered place to talk about your business, because your business doesn't need donations unless you're a nonprofit and that's what you're choosing to do. And then you can also, from your overflow, be like, cool, so I'm doing 10 hours of pro bono a week. Like, you can choose to do that, or 10 hours a month or a year or whatever you want to do. Like, you can also choose to serve other people at different levels. Okay, so do you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all judgments that you have of yourself around feeling like you're chicken shit, that you're holding yourself back, and the fear of change, the fear of charging higher rates, and the fear of people saying no or rejecting you for having higher rates, and any and all fears around moving from hourly into programs, that you can give yourself permission to increase the value of the container that you're in and choose to work with people in programs and packages versus hourly. And if you'd like all of that, you can say yes. And we also did like a lot of that stuff in the 7-week intensive as well. So anyone who wants to go deeper into that work and like why it's beneficial to have programs versus like one-off sessions and all that kind of stuff. So anyone who wants to go deeper, there's a lot more healing work that you can do there. And then for the new offer in the house, that is amazing and awesome and wonderful. And you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all energetic attachment to your current spaces. So I know other people are also like transitioning and wanting to like change their house, or like maybe have this as a home base and travel and all those things. So you want to release and let go of any and all self-sabotage of feeling like you need to be in the same thing in order to keep your business afloat, in order to keep your business and thriving, in order to keep things going well how they have been, and allow yourself to have more unknown and uncertainty and variables going on in your world while you're thriving, while you're expanding, while you're stepping into the next level version of yourself, and that you can give yourself total and complete permission to clear, release, and let go of any and all old attachments to being here in this place, in this house, in this place in the world, that you can allow yourself to clear, release, and let go of any and all cords, contracts, vows, commitments, bonds, oaths, and obligations that you feel like you have to that space or to other people, and that you can allow yourself to step into the unknown with ease, with love and support, and knowing that you're always watched over, protected, and kept safe. And if you would like that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of the fear of moving forward, and allow yourself to fully and completely understand and integrate the fear that's coming up, so you can grow outside your comfort zone with even more ease, speed, grace, joy, and love than you've ever experienced before. And you can also give yourself permission to invite fear along on the journey without it having control or power over your decisions, your goals, how fast you're moving, what's happening, and that you know what that looks like and feels like. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. Okay, so this is the part where I was like, oh my gosh, this like big magic book just like keeps coming through. So anyone who wants to like read that whole section about like fear being a part of the journey from someone who's literally like a fucking millionaire and had like Julia Roberts play her in a fucking movie, like fear is part of the journey. It's not separate. Just like success and failure, they're the same. It's part of the journey. Can't have one without the other. And you want to know what it looks like and feels like to openly communicate to your loved ones, to your family, to the people who are closest to you, what you're doing, your heart's desires, the work that you're doing in the world in a safe way, and know what it looks like and feels like to share your desires, share your goals, share your struggles, share what's going on without feeling like it's going to be used against you or being like shoeboxing you in a negative way, or being like judged for being too woo or crazy, or like that this isn't going to work. And you want to know who you are and what your life looks like, communicating in that way that serves and supports you first and foremost. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And do you want to clear, release, and let go of any shakiness around that? I know your stomach was hurting when that was coming up. So do you want to know how you can be feeling even more safe and grounded and secure in your body as you communicate to others when you are inspired to do so? And that you can clear, release, and let go of any and all shoulds around like, I should do this, I should do it this way, I should be more comfortable than I am, or like feeling like you're forced to do it quicker than you want. And that you can instead allow yourself to truly move in your own divine path, in your own inspired action steps at the speed that's most supportive for you without comparing yourself to others. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And do you want to clear, release, and let go of the fears around not being able to tell them what truly is going on for yourself, what's going on in your mind, feeling like you're in the closet, like you can't share your authentic truth, and that you can give yourself permission to own your truth within yourself, even more deeply, to love it unconditionally, and to allow yourself to be supported as you share with others what's going on in your world and how you're being guided and drawn to show up. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. Do you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all negative energy around money, around being afraid to talk about money, afraid to bring it up in conversation, any and all dread around talking about money and financial commitments and contracts and agreements with other people? And you can allow yourself to clear, release, and let go of the backlash that has come up in the past around trying to talk about money, or fears or worries that it might come up in the future, and that you can allow yourself to speak up in those situations, that you can be an advocate for yourself, that you can step into your leadership and stay in integrity with yourself as you move forward on your journey. And if you'd like all of that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all fears that you might burn out, like this won't work for you, like it's going to be difficult or hard or strenuous to show up in authentic integrity with yourself in your life and in your business at the same time, and that you can give yourself permission to truly tune into your heart and what is supportive for you in this moment and as you grow on your journey. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And then we can integrate all of those changes. And I can offer you general healing for any and all other areas of your body, life, and business that are ready to be healed right now, and fill you up with your higher powers, unconditional love, compassion, peace, and prosperity. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And take some deep cleansing breaths. And just really breathing, allowing yourself to exhale fully, allowing that energy to move. We just did a ton of downloads. Just breathing, grounding back into your body. And if you guys would like to share how you're feeling, definitely continue to take care of your body, drink lots of water. Want to share body sensations? Awesome. Robin saying feels so good. Love it. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, you also like feel lighter, like a little bit more like glowing, Robin, because like you're bigger on my screen. So I'm glad that that's feeling good. Awesome. Okay. So if anyone wants to share any wins, insights, I know that some people had to drop off. You can share that in the Facebook group if you want to share what you're committed to moving forward. If you had specific downloads for your homework or you want to share those, you can definitely do that in the group. Feeling looser in my body. Yes, I feel so relaxed. Wonderful. I love that. I'm going to send everyone so much love and end this broadcast and end it on Facebook. Sending everyone lots of love. Okay, stop the live stream. Cool. I did not know that that was a thing. Learning new things every day. Thank you, Derek.